Not interesting now. That is diaphragm, that is anterior abdominal wall. Here it is posterior abdominal wall. Here it is, and here in lower part that is here it is true pelvis. That is cavities of the pelvis. We have two cavity, abdominal cavity and cavity of the pelvis, but both of them supplies with peritoneum, and peritoneum from anterior abdominal wall continues to diaphragm, and from here, from posterior abdominal wall, peritoneum the same comes to diaphragm, and the largest organ which is below of diaphragm, that is liver. Here it is liver. And peritoneum from diaphragm goes to liver. And what is the name of this ligament? This is coronary ligament. Number one at my diagram, that is ligamentum coronarium hepatis. And from visceral surface, peritoneum goes to stomach or goes to the beginning of duodenum. That is a stomach or duodenum. And this ligament between liver and stomach, this double layer of peritoneum, that is ligamentum gastricum or ligamentum duodenale, and both of them has name lesser amentum. I put here number two, that is lesser amentum, and you need to write that lesser amentum consists of two ligaments, gastric and duodenal. Then peritoneum surround stomach posteriorly and anteriorly, and from greater cavity of the stomach, double layer of peritoneum goes downward. These two layers of peritoneum, that is anterior lamina of greater amentum, then it moves backward and makes posterior lamina of greater amentum. And we can see that greater amentum consists of how many layers? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 layers of peritoneum, or it consists of two lamina, anterior lamina and posterior lamina. From here, what is it? That is pancreas. This double layer of peritoneum goes to pancreas and supplies anterior surface of pancreas and continues to parietal peritoneum, and small part of inferior surface, the same supplies with peritoneum, and this is transverse colon which is below of stomach, and this posterior lamina of greater amentum then continues and surround transverse colon and makes this double layer between abdominal wall and transverse colon, that is mesocolon transversum. This is duodenum. It has extra peritoneal position, and after that peritoneum goes to small intestine, that is jejunum and ileum. I draw some loops, that is jejunum and ileum, and peritoneum from abdominal wall supplies jejunum and ileum, that is intraperitoneal position, and this is mesenterium, root of mesenterium. Then peritoneum from small intestine continues to large intestine, and if it is sigmoid colon, how sigmoid colon supplies? Intraperitoneal position, and here we can see mesocolon sigmoid. And from sigmoid colon, then peritoneum goes to pelvis, into true pelvis. And in pelvis we have rectum. This is rectum. That is rectum, and canalis analis. Here it is uterus in female. Uterus. This is uterus, and this is vagina. And this is urinary bladder, and urethra. Start from urinary bladder. And now peritoneum goes to rectum, and from rectum peritoneum passes and supplies posterior fornix of vagina. It supplies uterus, and from uterus peritoneum goes to urinary bladder, and from urinary bladder goes to anterior abdominal wall. And we can see that in pelvis, peritoneum makes two pouches, or excavatio, this pouch, excavatio recta uterina, recta uterine pouch, that is a lower point of abdominal cavity in female, or Douglas pouch. And this pouch between uterus and urinary bladder, that is excavatio vesica uterina, vesica uterine pouch. But this pouch is not so deep like this. Recta uterine pouch is deeper than vesica uterine pouch. In male, between rectum and urinary bladder, one pouch, excavatio recto vesicalis in male. But in female, two pouches, recta uterine pouch and vesica uterine pouch. Now, I put labels. Number 2, lesamentum. Number 3, stomach. Number 4, that is greater omentum, consists of anterior and posterior lamina. Number 5, pancreas. Number 6,
transverse colon.
And this is number 7, mesocolon transversum. This is number 8, duodenum. Number 9,
ileum and jejunum.
And together that is mesenteric
of small intestine.
Number 9, mesenterial part of small intestine. And number 10, that is mesenterium. Number 11, sigmoid colon. And number 12, mesocolon sigmoidum. 13, rectum. 14,
uterus.
15,
urinary bladder.
16, recta uterine pouch or Douglas pouch. 17, vesica uterine pouch, excavatio vesica uterina. And last moment, between stomach and transverse colon, here greater omentum fused with transverse colon, and it makes ligament, gastrocolic ligament. What is the number? 18, I think. 18. Put here arrow, that is number 18. Gastrocolic ligament between stomach and transverse colon. And number 19, that is part of peritoneal cavity. Look here, between visceral and between parietal and visceral layer of peritoneum, this space, that is peritoneal cavity. Cavitas peritoneal. And part of peritoneal cavity is behind of stomach and behind of lesamentum, number 19. This place has name lesser sac or bursa or mentalis or mental bursa. It is behind of stomach and behind of lesamentum. That is important structure, because if we have ulcer, do you know what is ulcer of the stomach? Yes. If posterior wall of stomach has ulcer and this ulcer perforate, that in this case gastric juice and food comes to this part of peritoneal cavity. It is dangerous for human life, necessary to make operation, but in time of operation, bursa omental, this omental bursa, impossible to see, because anteriorly, that is peritoneum between liver and stomach, that is lesamentum, then stomach, then greater omentum, and here mesenteric of transverse colon. This bursa is not visible. If you open abdominal cavity, here you cut abdominal cavity, not visible this bursa. Only, look here, that is a liver. Here it is, this is stomach. This is stomach and superior part of duodenum.
Duodenum.
And this peritoneum, here it is. Peritoneum makes lesser amentum. This is lesser amentum, which consists of hepatogastric ligament number
And
1 and hepatoduodenal
duodenum.
number 2. And together that is lesser amentum. And bursa amentalis is behind of stomach. But in time of operation, only here, behind of ligamentum hepatogastricum, we can see opening, and we can insert finger, and we put finger into this bursa amentalis. We move finger, and we can see that food is in your finger. Why? Because food from stomach comes to this bursa, and necessary to do what?
Operation.
We can separate, we can cut this ligament between stomach and transverse colon, because here there is no important vessels. We have vessels, but it is not so important. And we can, if we cut here, we can separate stomach from this peritoneum and opens amental bursa, close this opening, wash this part
area
of peritoneal cavity, bursa amentalis, and then one again tie stomach and transverse colon. Clear? That is why it is important to know walls of epiploic foramen and walls of amental bursa. Epiploic foramen superiorly, that is liver. More exact, that is caudate lobe of the liver, superiorly. Anteriorly, that is ligament, hepatoduodenal ligament. Inferiorly, that is upper part, superior part of duodenum. And posteriorly, that is peritoneum, which starts from liver and goes to right kidney. That is ligamentum hepatorenal ligament posteriorly. That is walls of of epiploic foramen. And now, walls of bursa amentalis, anterior wall, lesser amentum and stomach, superior wall, liver. Inferior wall, that is posterior lamina of greater amentum together with mesentery of transverse colon. Mesocolon transversum and posterior lamina of greater amentum. And posteriorly, that is peritoneum, parietal layer of peritoneum. What else?
Pancreas.
And the same here it is, we have inferior vena cava and aorta. They are walls of bursa amentalis. And now we goes to corp, and I explained that is peritoneal cavity. It subdivides into two stories: superior abdominal story and inferior abdominal story. And here it is cavitas of true pelvis. In pelvis, we already know two pouches, Douglas pouch and vesical pouch. And in superior and in inferior abdominal story, some places, that is hepatic bursa, pregastric bursa, amental bursa, and in inferior abdominal story, we have right and left mesenteric sinuses, canals, and some recesses of peritoneum. That is, they are topography of peritoneal cavity. Let's go with me. Can you take